NRL Fanatics here, back today with a video, and I'm going to go through and give my mid-season review on the Warriors. Now, we're at the midpoint of the season now. We're going into the bye this week, and we've got a game the following week against the Melbourne Storm. So, what I'm going to do is give my thoughts on the team's performances so far this season, as well as give my best players for the team, and go through a ratings for the coaching, as well as a full ratings for the team in general. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, look, the Warriors at the start of the season, now we've got a good win against the Gold Coast Titans on the Central Coast, a team that we were playing who was touted as the top 8 team at the start of the season. So, the Gold Coast Titans were talked up as a big top 8 team at the start of the season because they signed David Fifita and Tino Farmasili. So the Warriors won that pretty convincingly in the end. Now, after that game, we had a few mixed results. Now, we had so many mixed results. And look, the games that for me very much stood out as pretty costly at the moment, and this could be biting us in the ass at the end of the season, is the game against the Newcastle Knights. Now, I thought the game against the Newcastle Knights was a game that we should have won. Now, Newcastle, look, it was all with a bit of Bradman Best brilliance and, you know, a missed tackle from one of the Warriors players. But, you know, that game was very, very costly, and that game was a game that we should have won. And, look, I personally thought, you know, that was a missed result for us. And another game which I thought was a missed result for us was a game against the Manly Seagulls. Now, that was the first matchup against them, and that one was a game which went, you know, from a field goal position to win it, and Cherry Evans, you know, kicked a field goal, and he won the game for Manly, and that sent Manly, you know, climbing up the ladder, and from there on, Manly have shown some great form. But, you know, that was a result that killed our chances of, you know, getting into that top 8 spot. And another game which was very, very frustrating was the game against the North Queensland Cowboys. And, you know, the game against the North Queensland Cowboys, you know, we started off pretty well. We're up, 4 points to nil, 6 points to nil. And we gave away a stupid sin bin, and that was a big point of the game. It did not cost us the game. Before people tell me, oh, it cost us the game and all that, it did not cost us the game. I thought it was a fair sin bin at the end of the day. But that game, you know, we came back from 22 points to 6 down. And in the second half, you know, the Warriors, you know, Rhys Walsh with an individual brilliance try. And we, you know, with a couple minutes to go, 28-22, we should have controlled that game a lot better. And we allowed the Cowboys back in it, allowed the Cowboys to get that field goal and win that game. We also had an opportunity of field goal to win the game, but we did not take it. So, the frustrating thing about the Warriors' performances so far this season, there's nothing wrong with our effort. Our effort's been there. We've been able to score points. We've been able to stay in games, but the frustrating thing for the Warriors is taking those opportunities, the field goals. Why are we not taking them early in the game? We were up in front, 28 points to 22. Why don't we take a field goal? We should have taken the 1 point. Would we hang on? It's not so sure, but, you know, still, you know, take the field goal early is my suggestion, because at the end of the day, you know, you look at the scoreline, 29 points to 28. You know, what could have been, I mean, against the Cowboys. But like I said, we're not taking those opportunities. We're in games. We're in the games this year, and we're not taking them. And at the end of the day, those points in those games costly at the end of the season in terms of top 8 spots. So, like I said, you know, performances, how I rated the performances. Look, the performances aren't too bad. There's nothing wrong with the performances. But the way we conduct ourselves in the big moments the big moments in the games is, you know, very frustrating. And a lot of Warriors fans out there are going to bash on a player and say, you know, it's that player's fault, it's that player's fault. At the end of the day, it's the team's fault. It's not one player's fault. So you can't blame one player. I mean, it's a team performance, and the team needs to perform better in those situations. It's just that simple, really. It's just, you know, I don't want to rant on about it much longer, but, you know, like I said, that is my thoughts on it. Take your opportunities at the right times of the game. Cody Nikorima, Chanel Harris-Tavita, the whole team, do make your options better. And that's what I'm trying to say here. So, now, I'm going to get into, you know, players that I think have stood out the most so far this season. And there's quite a few players at the moment, but there's a couple of players that, you know, need to aim up a bit more. So, look, I'm going to go for the players that stood out the most. I'm not going to go through players that have been disappointing. I'm just going to go through players that have stood out the most so far this season. And I'm going to go through the first one, and that is Tohu Harris. Now, Tohu Harris, an absolutely outstanding, experienced player. You know, what he's done so far this season has been great. I haven't seen any poor performances from Tohu Harris. I think he's done a great job. And for me, next year, you know, looking at captains for the Warriors, Tohu Harris for me is my option for the captain next year. And I reckon he'll take over from Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in that role. So, I've been impressed by Tohu Harris so far this season. He's been great. And, you know, he's always consistent, never makes mistakes, and he's been outstanding. Now, the next player I want to talk about is Marquez Montoya. Now, I talked about Marquez Montoya a lot in my off-season signings report video. Now, if you want to go check that out, go back and check that out and give it a like and comment your thoughts in that video. Go check that video out. Now, Tohu Harris, I talked about. Now, Marquez Montoya, outstanding. I can't believe it. I mean, I was hypercritical about the signing of Marquez Montoya. I admitted, you know, I got to admit, I was proven wrong here on this case with Marquez Montoya. I didn't think he'd come in and do a good job. He's done a good job. Full credit to Marquez Montoya. It's great. It's great that these players that you have doubts over come in and prove you wrong, because that's what I like to see. I like to see these players prove me wrong and show that they're great players. And Marquez Montoya, look, you know, when he was at the Bulldogs, I heard a lot of Bulldogs fans say, oh, you know, you signed a dud there and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, Marquez Montoya's done a decent job. I think he's come in and done a decent job. Now, something similar to last year when Ken Mamala and Fusatua got injured and Adam Pompey came in. It's a similar situation. I mean, you know, Marquez Montoya's really stood out, and I know there's a few mistakes in his game that he made against the Cowboys, but, you know, he still stood out for me as a good player, and I've been impressed with Marquez Montoya. I have been absolutely impressed with what he's done when he's come into the side. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's done a pretty decent job so far. Now, the next player I want to talk about is, you know, an off-season signing. And this is an off-season signing midpoint of this year, which, you know, I thought, you know, he wasn't going to play this year. And that is Rhys Walsh. Now, Rhys Walsh is only 18 years old. You know, he's got a lot of work to do in his game. But Rhys Walsh has come in with no fear at all. He's come in a few games into the NRL. We saw it against the Melbourne Storm. I mean, you know, he really stood out in that game, even though we got flogged by Melbourne. And look, not an easy place to go and play, you know, not an easy place to make your debut against a very high quality team. And Rhys Walsh stood out for me. And, you know, he's played in a couple positions now. We've seen him play fullback. We've seen him play in the halves for some games. But Rhys Walsh for me, outstanding so far this season. And, you know, in the future, I'm looking forward to what he brings. So, yeah, those are a few standout players for me so far this season. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is coaching now. And, look, let's look into coaching. Nathan Brown. Now, at the start of the season, Nathan Brown came in. It's his first year as a coach at the Warriors. Now, we've seen new assistant coaches as well. We've seen Craig Hodges come in. We've seen, you know, we've still seen the same coach in Morgan come in. But look, I think Nathan Brown has done. Look, I'm going to say right now, you know, it's a bit topsy-turvy with Nathan Brown. I personally think he's done a pretty. He's done okay, but not great. I mean, let's be honest. We're sitting in ninth spot. At the end of the day, Nathan Brown, you know, at the end of the season, I think, you know, Warriors fans will probably judge him if we don't make the finals. Which, you know, let's be honest, yes, I do agree to that point. But look, it's his first year as a coach of the Warriors. So maybe we should give him a few years before we judge him on performances. But right now, at this midpoint of the season, I'm going to give Nathan Brown a C. So I'm not going to rate him harshly. I know at the end of the day, you know, we've had injuries. We haven't had a full side on the field. And Nathan Brown, look, to have us in ninth at this point of the season is not too bad of a job. Look, let's look at, you know, last year when we had Kearney involved as a coach and we weren't even near the top 8. So I personally think he's done okay, but, you know, I have been questioning his coaching selections and his use of the bench in recent games. So, yeah, I'm going to give Nathan Brown and his coaching a C at this midpoint of the season. Now for the overall rating for the team's performance this season so far. And this is going off the midpoint of this year. And I'm going to give the team a D. And this might sound a bit harsh because we're sitting in ninth, like I said. You know, we're only a couple wins outside the 8, and we're not too far away. But look, a few results, like I said, you know, the 3 games I talked about was Newcastle, Melbourne, Newcastle, Manly, and the Cowboys. And those were 3 games that we should have won. Had we won those 3 games, we'd be sitting comfortably in the 8. So at the moment, I'm going to say D because it's a bit disappointing at the moment. We've been a bit inconsistent. But, you know, we're not being horrible or anything. I'm not saying we've been horrible. I'm just saying that, you know, D for disappointing because there's some games where we should have taken the opportunities and we haven't taken them. So we need to step up at the end of the season. And, look, there's a lot of work to do for this team in general. There's a lot of work to do. You know, once we get Adam Fanua-Blake back, that'll be great. It'll be a great boost to have Adam Fanua-Blake back. He's going to be back against the Melbourne Storm, so it'll be great to have him back in the lineup. Ewan Aiken, you know, great to see him back in the lineup lately and playing well. He played well against the Cowboys. But that is my mid-season review of the New Zealand Warriors. Let me know in the comment section below if you disagree or agree with my review. What is your thoughts on the season for the Warriors so far? Comment below your thoughts. And also, don't forget as well, if you're new around here and you're watching my videos, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the channel. Now, look, before I end this, I'm not begging for subscribers, likes, and views, but, you know, lately I've been doing lots of videos, and I believe I'm not getting enough support for my videos, and I'm not getting enough support. I'm trying to bring out the best content I can for you guys, and at the moment, look, the channel is, you know, steady and on the same amount of subscribers. So at the moment, the channel is at 541 subscribers. So, you know, let's move the subscriber count up a bit. Let's help this channel out and get this channel to 600 subscribers. That's the aim of this channel, to get to 600 subscribers. And also, you know, appreciate the support for those who are commenting, liking the videos, and also giving me suggestions on what I should do. I've been taking those suggestions on board, and I'll be trying to do those suggestions in the next couple of months. So make sure you keep an eye out for the channel for a lot of more content. And yeah, so I will be doing a review at the end of the season. I'll be doing an end of the year season review. So make sure you're locked into the channel for that one. Make sure you're also watching and liking the videos of the previous ones I've done. I've done a lot of previous videos. I've done one of the off-season signings. I've done one of some content that's coming to the channel. So make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one.